Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name's Breakaway Ray, and I'm helping you to find your own inner persona's panache-encrusted nickname. Let's go right to the tarot cam. So before I get to the one I want to do, obviously I want to build up to it because I'm pursuing some ideas about westward expansion in the United States during the 1700s and the 1800s, looking at it through the prism of the old world idea that, you know, there weren't just virgin wildlands across the North American continent that we were going out and exploring and settling. In fact, there are already pre-existing European-style cities with fully developed trolley and rail systems, but they were nearly vacant. And that's what we were looking to conquer and occupy. So anyway, I guess you're probably going to hear that one again. I wrote it down a couple of times. When we were in school in the 1970s and 1980s, you know, the message we got was just wide open prairie and expanse. Yeah, there were some Native Americans out there, but there weren't fully developed cities. And in fact, it looks quite the contrary, right? So we're going back in time. And in 1803, I'm going to cover up here. This is the western part of the United States. In 1803, when the United States looked like this, when Thomas Jefferson was president, remember he squared away that deal with Napoleon from France to acquire the Louisiana Purchase, the Louisiana Territory. And again, it's not just open prairie from Breakaway Ray's perspective. This is my opinion. You know, you don't even have to agree with me, but it's still fun to talk about. I'm trying to be entertaining here too. So, you know, you had places like Missouri and Helena, Montana, and Madison, Wisconsin. These are incredibly developed cities. And it's hard to believe the story that you read about their history, that all this was done with a very small population through very bitter winters. And basically it looked like Chicago before they adjusted the way Chicago looked, right? So anyway, all right. So, we started a couple of days ago talking about the Louisiana Purchase with the third president of the United States of America, President Jefferson. That took place in about 1803. And then we eyeballed subsequent westward expansion with the fifth president, with the fifth president of the United States of America, President James Monroe, right about the year 1820. And we learned, so Breakaway Ray believes, from the tarot world, that President Monroe was already on to the capitalization upon and commandeering of nearly vacant, fully developed European-style cities with trolleys and railways and fully developed underground, uber cities, all for the taking. Just get some shovels and start digging them out. By the way, when you talk about people getting shovels and digging them out, it makes me think about, I think it's FDR's CCR, right? Anyway, moving on, I'm going to go from the fifth president, Mr. Monroe, to the 11th president now in 1845. This would be James K. Polk, James Knox Polk, K-N-O-X. He was a dark horse candidate, and he promised to be a one-termer. He said, just vote for me. I'm only sticking around for 4 years, and then I'm out of here. And he stood true to his word. He was pretty popular, apparently, at the end of his 4-year term, and he could have stayed on. He could have been reelected, but he decided to retire. And then I'm sorry to say President Polk passed away not too long after he retired. You know, James K. Polk's influence connecting the United States of America across the continent from sea to shining sea cannot be overstated. Polk's policy of manifest destiny shaped global geography and geopolitics ever since 1849. And what was the hurry to go west? Well, in light of what we're talking about here at STARCARD Podcast, Polk's story looks different to me now than it did 50 years ago when I first did a report on President Polk in elementary school. So let me go to the social studies book and let me show you some cool stuff. I'm getting excited about a 40-year-old social studies book. Okay, this is from 5th grade. All right, but check this out. So remember, this is what the Louisiana Purchase looked like. And then just to refresh your geography, these little brown shapes end up continuing all the way across. And there's California over there, Mexico to the south. Okay, and then I happened to come across this subtitle in the book, and it says the Transcontinental Railroads and the Indian Wars. The Transcontinental Railroads and the Indian Wars. Actually, this is the page I turned to, just like a tarot thrower would. This is the first page I turned to when I opened up this book this morning. This is kind of the subject that I'm talking about here. This is the propaganda, the twist. Instead of saying there was already a railroad there, there was, besides the Native Americans, yada, yada, we'll say, you know what, we had to basically have wars with the Native Americans. We weren't very nice, but we were building railroads, and sometimes they were in the way. It's a total, whitewash of the previous civilization's masterful work, the way they terraformed our planet with all their magnificent, marvelous infrastructure, which we're just barely catching on to right now. We don't even see what's underneath the surface of Earth, right? Think about Denver Airport. Let's just start right there. All right. So there was that one. I thought I had another map. Yeah, here's the other map. So now history has moved on a little bit here. So I'm going to show you the original United States in the eastern seaboard here with your 13 colonies, and then running up and down the Appalachian Mountains here. Here is the peninsula of Florida, touching the southern parts of the states of Alabama, Mississippi, and going over to Louisiana. Here is Texas, all in green, which also at this time includes Oklahoma. And down over here, you have California and Utah and that's Nevada. You have the Gadsden Purchase, which is Arizona and New Mexico, those two states right there. I think you could see it better than I'm showing it. There, look. I'm having too much fun looking at the book. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now I get it. All right. So, they're showing a couple of paths there. I don't know if that's the Oregon Trail or something like that. Oh, yeah, more trails, pioneer trails. Great. Well, they're not showing all the rail lines that needed to be uncovered with shovels because they were already there. They served a previous civilization probably for hundreds of years. Anyway, I like how I got all hyped up about the hidden knowledge here. I guess I'm ready to throw some cards now. I think I covered everything. Today, I do have plans to invite in James K. Polk, President of the United States, the champion of manifest destiny. I would like to hear his take, if he has one, on the pre-existing infrastructure that we were just talking about. When I say we, I mean I was monologuing about it. I wonder if President Polk would like to share his perspective. I mean, we think that President Monroe already knew about it. I'm pretty sure President Jefferson already knew about the stuff. So there was certainly, remaining old world buildings all around. Maybe you'd like to tell us your perspective on those cities out there in the Louisiana Purchase area, going all the way out to California. So we would like President Polk to comment on how valuable it looks and how driven he had to be with manifest destiny, why it was so important. I suspect it was more than just open land and a great theoretical idea of moving across the continent. But we invite the president to speak about that. And I'm sure that all of these little seances, breakaway ray throws in the morning are protected. I believe that there are guides and helpers protecting all of our tarot sessions. And so I would like to ask them, especially with the president present, when I'm sure he brings his own security, let's make sure that the whole meeting is protected and we're all on extra alert. And because I would like to welcome another guest. I'm sure these two entities, President Polk and the next guest, know each other. They're aware of each other. Their existences were intricately intertwined with one another. But just to be on the safe side so that everybody can stay cool, I'd like to invite in the spirits of the security guards from the Jerry Springer Show just to stand by, guys. I want to thank you for being here because I don't think we're going to need you, but we're all going to feel comfortable knowing you're right there to assist in case there's a problem. No matter where it comes from. I know that both of our guests are civil and respectful. Otherwise, they would not be invited to the party and be asked to speak through the tarot cards. So thank you to the special protection from all our spirits and guides and the archangels and the spirits and consciousness of the security guards at the Jerry Springer Show. Thank you very much. And so now I'd like to welcome in, besides President Polk, the spirit of the railways, the actual railways that were most likely covered in mud or dirt and needed to be uncovered and stretched across the North American continent. I wonder if the railways themselves, the spirit of the consciousness of the railways, would like to comment on my question. So I'm going to get my notes out for everybody. That's right. I was talking about European-style cities, railways, trolleys, and an amazing underground, most of which we don't know anything about, right? And then we're inviting in President Polk to speak, okay? And then the consciousness of North American railways, right there. And then I didn't do one for the tarot world, but I'm going to check my notes and see how I'm going to read that one. The last row. Is it a true statement? Railways and pre-existing European-style cities with fully developed underground cities motivated manifest destiny in a way people in 2025 know nothing about. So was there some kind of motivation going on that most of us in 2025 know nothing about? We're inviting the president to speak. We're inviting the consciousness of the North American Railway to speak. And then we'll invite a summary statement from these two entities whose energies intermingled in an intricate manner. I want to say thank you in advance to the tarot world. These cards are for the hidden knowledge and the motivation for manifest destiny. And we thank President Polk for joining us. I know he remembers me. I got a good grade on my project. We thank the railways for all the ways it helped our nation grow. And we thank them for making a sacrifice for us. And we appreciate their commentary on possible hidden knowledge. And then let's bridge our messages together through the power of tarot. Woo, that one's coming out. That'll go last then. Okay. This is for entertainment purposes only. First up, what's President Polk have to say? Thank you for your commentary, sir. Here we go. He starts with the Hanged Man card, which says, take another look. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking another look at what President Polk really may have seen. I think he's inviting us to look through his point of view there, see it through his eyes. Yeah. Could there be any more of a President Polk card than the Five of Swords? This dude who takes everybody's weapons and basically has no friends, but he's the bad boy on the block. Instant cash in too. Look at him. He's a young guy with his red colored hair there. No gray hairs. He's just a bad dude. All right. Thank you, President Polk. Listening, sir. Well, okay. Somebody in charge, the King of Cups. Let's check the words on this one. King of Cups. Yeah, emotionally balanced, diplomatic, control, supportive leader. I'm going to say the terms diplomatic and control and supportive leader and even compassion, they all seem to apply to Mr. Polk. I'm not getting any clues yet about his perspective on the old world cities and buildings, but we still got 2 cards to play with. Excellent introduction, sir. I believe you're here. Yeah, I believe it. I believe whatever you want to say can be said in 2 cards. Okay. Did anyone say manifest destiny? It's the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands says unlimited potential. Let's double check that. Inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, exploration, excitement, freedom. And, the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles talks about the fruits of your labor, but they're getting the fruits of someone else's labor. It's those old world cities. That's what they had their eye on. Well, thank you, President Polk. I like how he's like acknowledging, yeah, Breakaway Ray, that's right. I should see like a Queen of Swords. Well, I didn't throw one for me, but yeah, I don't need a Queen of Swords, President Polk, sir. You made your message clear. Thank you very much for joining us. And now let's hear from our friends, the North American Railways. I mean, they do their job anyway. Who knows if they're concerned about what the humans in 2025 think or no. But, the 10 of Cups says it's a dream come true. Well, from a historical standpoint, if the rail lines were already there, what a dream come true. You don't have to do all that work. It's already there. Get your shovel and dig it out. Yeah, the 4 of Wands. It's a homecoming. Trains bring us home. Also, it's a dream come true that we're talking about this right now with our guest, the consciousness of the North American Railways. This really feels like the railways themselves are saying it's like a dream come true to be a guest on your show. Such as all ours. Thank you. We're not worthy. All right. Next up, the 3 of Wands. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. This is the guy that's looking up at the boards so he knows what ticket to buy when he gets on the train. Sweet. Yeah, you're planning for your trip home. You're checking out the boards. Anyway, well, there is some disappointment involved with the 5 of Cups. Well, yeah, because we don't know, that stuff, that stuff was already there. We're not even paying attention. It was already there and built. Okay, we thought that there was nothing there. How about that? That's an epistemological point of view there from the consciousness of the North American Railways. What do we know? Wow, and perhaps there's it says it's the end of a lot of hard work. We could talk about the hard work of the researchers who present this information, like Old World Exploration and Michelle Gibson. We could talk about their hard work that's helping us learn about that. Well, and the hard work we're doing discussing it here at STARCARD Podcast. And finally, we want to thank them both for their messages and all the security presence in the house. Let's take a look at the last 3 cards so we can go on and have a wonderful day. It's the 10 of Swords. And that says it's the end of a painful episode, right? That's good news. It's the end of a painful episode. It's the end of, the dark ages and pretending we don't know about this stuff. We got to get ready for the age of Aquarius. The 4 of Swords says, relax. Let's groove into it. Let's flow into it, right? Also, don't forget to meditate and take a break. And then finally, I guess, President Polk and the consciousness of the North American Railways and the tarot world are reminding us that we're at a crossroads, kind of like I just pre-echoed a moment ago. We're just walking through the threshold of the age of Aquarius. We don't see everything that's coming, but we're definitely ready to handle it. As the information comes in, we should have no problem making good decisions. So we're going to keep the information coming here. What a fun story. It was worth all the lesson planning and extra homework this morning to bring that to you. And again, thank you very much for being with me. Best part of my day, right? Seeing you all the way around the planet.